Hi there, Dr. Gary here on the road. We sell dental practices nationwide. We are dental practice brokers. I was a dentist for 25 years and now doing the dental practice brokerage for 14. Today's topic is, how does the seller of a dental office know who the best buyer is? We'll get into that. As you know, so we're doing this for 14 years. We now have 10 employees. We're in 24 states, and we are here to service you. You can call us anytime. We work 363 days a year and take off Christmas and Easter. So please give us a call. Our number is 201-663-0935, and our cell phone, and that's our cell phone, and our website is dentalpracticeguide.com or nationwidedentalpracticebrokers.com. Just look it up. Plenty of information on there and pretty good guides and articles and etc. And we have a practice listing. I think it's up to 92 nationwide. Anyway, so everything you're about to hear today is for entertainment purposes. It's not legal or business advice. So let's get started with everything. Now, if you're thinking about selling to a DSO, please remember we work closely with them. We're not employed by them. We know who the best ones are because this is a changing world we're in 2024, especially with DSOs. Some of them are lacking funding. There's merging going on. Some can't sell. Some can't go to closing. So we get the inside track on that because we're in that world. We know when their employees are quitting and looking for jobs, they call us and asking for advice, so we immediately know they're having trouble when their mergers and acquisition team is going south. So we can help you there, but often they will pay our commission, so there's no commission to you. All right. And also, if you're selling a practice, any practice over $1 million as a seller, we will reimburse your legal fees at closing, whether it's DSO or not. But we've done that multiple times based on some minor criteria. Now, anyway, going forward, how does a seller know? How do you know you have a hot buyer? Well, we try to help with our 14 years experience and 25 years as a dentist. There are certain indications very early in the search of that buyer. Obviously, they have to be pre-approved with the mortgage, and you've run them through the bank. Obviously, with us, they've all signed a non-disclosure agreement. That's an initial step. But how do you know that this is the right person? How much time are you going to waste with them? You know, beyond the fact that we have an approval, and a pre-approval doesn't mean that much because circumstances can change. It's only an indication that they should be approved for X number of dollars. But every deal is different. So how do you know? And we feel, we'll give you an example of how we think we know. It's a few simple words. Did that buyer hit the ground running? Did they hit it running? Which means they're organized, they're on top of their game, they're motivated, they're returning phone calls. And I'll give you an example of one. Just this past weekend, we did our email blast. We have about 1,880, I think it is, people we know that have signed their non-disclosure, got pre-approved from the bank. We've worked with them for the last 14 years or less, and we know who they are. So they're pretty solid buyers. Now, so we just did our email blast. One of our buyers called, so they're kind of pre-screened already because we know who they are. We've worked with them before. So we have a comfort level. They're asking us about one of these practices, and actually there's 7 people going after this one practice. You know, practice doing over $1 million. And not DSO material. It's more for a private doctor. So the doctor calls, gets in touch. Hey, I want that practice. What can we do? Can we talk about it? I want information about it. And I knew he was pre-approved, so I sent them the financials on it, which we had a package. And they called again, got in touch, say, look, I've reviewed these financials. I want to move forward. What can we do? This is on a Thursday. I said, well, call me tomorrow anytime after, I think 11 o'clock in the morning, because I had a meeting and a lot of stuff going on. I said, call me after 11. It's 11:01 the next day. That doctor's on the phone. They're on the phone at 11:01. Hey, I'm here. What can we do? What can we talk? What can we do? And I went, oh, this guy's motivated. So we had a chat, and then I said, I think I'd like to introduce you to the doctor, the seller, even before we meet. Since I have your non-disclosure, I know a little bit about you. I want you to have a conversation with the seller to sort of open up so you understand what you're getting into. This is a GP practice with some level of specialty. He says, okay. But I said, first, let's get you in for the bank. Even though you've been there, let's get you to the bank for this one. Here's some names of the banks. Within 2 hours, the bank calls me and says, meanwhile, this is on a weekend. Meanwhile, the bank calls me and says, we're in. This guy, this guy, he can get approved. Don't worry about it. A high percentage. Building my confidence. Now, don't forget, the buyers jumped on it right away. I said, call the bank. And within 2 hours, he was on the phone with the bank. The bank was back to me with an answer. This gal is good to go. So now my confidence is building, and he's following every single step. We talk again, I said, and we work on the weekends, as you know. I said, here's what you do. Call me, and let's chat. Let's get a game plan. Maybe I'll give you the doctor's cell phone number. The seller said it was okay. I said, and I want you to have a chat with them before we make a meeting. And now that the bank told me you're good to go, you signed in on disclosure, you called the seller, and I want you to talk to him. I called the seller, said, tell him to call me. They had a great conversation. I said, try to call the seller within an hour or two. The buyer calls within 10 minutes. The seller picked up, they started chatting, and they had a 1 hour conversation. This on a Saturday. And now the buyer is really motivated. Buyer says, great. I got some more financials. How soon can I get in there? I said, well, we'll set something up. I want you to call the seller back. Tell him you're ready to go, and you'd like to. I usually do that. Have the buyer and seller talk to each other, and set up the most convenient time for the both of them, and then we try to adjust our schedule to insert into their schedule. This buyer followed every step of the way. Everything the buyer was instructed to do, the buyer followed up with. Everything, I mean everything, from the banks to returning phone calls to calling the seller to setting up a time. That's how we know. You see the actions early on. And I haven't seen this doctor. We may have met like 2 years ago, the buyer, but I haven't seen him in a while. And sure enough, the buyer just jumped on it, got everything going. And every step of the way. So I was really happy about that. And that worked out. And that's how we knew. Because this buyer just basically stayed on their game. And you get an early indication. How does the seller know? Those are some indications right now. They simply stay on top of their game. And you see their movements. And that's what I saw. And I said, this guy is a winner. Let's move on this. And that's what we did. So we're moving on it now. And let's see what happens. All right, keep you posted. Thank you for listening. We got a beautiful day in New Jersey. Out to take a ride in the country now. All right, thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button. Bye now.